Hello, good evening, my dear YouTube viewers. Again, we will start the sociology information regarding the village studies in India. Generally, if anybody will ask you what is India, you should say like this: India is a traditional based rural society or rural based traditional society. From 1950 to 1960, it constitutes a major concern about the village studies through monographs and papers. Village occupies an important place in socio-cultural landscape of contemporary India. Majority of Indian population residing at villages. Even though 5 to 6 decades, the industrialization started. Added to this, they used it to depend on agriculture and its related activities. Though the industrialization was started in French, but it has taken lot of time to come over to India. That's why it is only 5 to 6 decades. According to 2001 census, 72% are at rural area and nearly India's working population is directly employed on agricultural sector. Village comes under ideological category where we observe authentic native value, social relationship and belief systems. Andre Betele is telling like this: the village was not merely a place where people lived, it had a design in which were reflected the basic values of Indian civilization. Village communities or traditional societies are useful to strengthen the local cultural values. If you check out the historical background, village life at ancient and medieval period is later during British colonial rule, how the British administrations redesigned the village life. That will be based on ideological and political point of view. James Mill and Charles also telling like this: rural India, in his book, they mentioned like this: the villages are treated as little republicans and maintain the independence of foreign relations. Though number of dynasties changed, but the status of village status remained as usual. Metcalfe also assessed in this way: the villages were self-sufficient, community, communal ownership, simplicity, communal harmony. According to Mr. Yinden, each village has inner world, a tradition pattern, self-sufficiency in economic aspect, but patriarchal governance, that is male dominated society, surrounded by hostile villages and despotic governments. Hostile means enemies, despotic means very powerful strict rulers, which we want like such type of ruling. Jadaka said the reconstruction villages are as an output of colonial rulers, political independence only. After independence, the sociologists and anthropologists started to work on Indian villages, particularly socio-cultural aspect. As a matter of fact, both subject government recognition in social sciences as First, social anthropologists started to do the work through first-hand field work, that is on structure of society, social relations, institutional patterns, beliefs and value systems of rural life area. This showed for the first time study the social science subject through the field work techniques or method, now what we call it as field view of India, that differ from dominant features or method of book view in India. Later that facilitates to develop Indologists and Orientalists from classical Hindu scriptures. Once again, we will recap the information. Today we will switch over to another sub-area. The name is Village Studies in India. India will be called as, if anybody will ask what is India, we can say like this. India is a traditional based rural society or rural based traditional country. From 1950 to 1960, it constitutes a major concern about village studies through monographs and papers. Village occupy an important place in socio-cultural landscape of contemporary India. Majority of Indian population residing at villages, even though 5 to 6 decades back industrialization started. Added to this, they used it to depend on agriculture and its related activities. Though the industrialization started in French 16th to 18th century, but to travel and to enter into the India only 5 to 6 decades back. Okay. According to 2001 census, 72% are at rural area and nearly India's working population is directly employed on agricultural sector. Village comes under ideological category where we observe authentic native values, social relationships and belief systems. According to Mr. Andre Betelle, he said like this: the village was not merely a place where people lived, it had a design in which were reflected the basic values of Indian civilization. Village communities or traditional societies are useful to strengthen the local cultural values. Historical background. Village life is at ancient and medieval period and later during British colonial period. How the British administrators redesigned the village life based on the ideological and political point of view only. James Mill and Charles Metcalfe are also told like this. In rural India, it was the title of the book. In that they mentioned like this: the villages are treated as little republics and maintain the independently the foreign relations. Though number of dynasties changed, but the status of village status remained as usual. Metcalfe assessed like this: the villages are generally self-sufficient community, communal ownership, simplicity, communal harmony. According to Yinden, each village has inner world, a traditional pattern, self-sufficiency in economic aspects, patriarchal governance, that is male-dominated ruling, surrounded by hostile villages, that with the enemy villages, and despotic, the cruel rulers, despotic government. Mr. Jetka also said like this: the reconstruction of villages are as an output of colonial rulers' political independence only. After independence, the sociologists and anthropologists started to work on Indian villages, particularly socio-cultural aspect. As a matter of fact, both subjects got recognition in social sciences. First, social anthropologists started and do the work through the first-hand field work. That is a hallmark of the research methodology used by the social or cultural anthropologist. That is on structure of society, social relations, institutions, patterns, beliefs, and value systems of rural area. This show for the first time study the social science subject, the fieldwork techniques and methods. Now it is called the field view of India that differ from dominant features or method of book view of India. So what it has written in the book is theory. What we observed that the first hand is the field view. So there is a lot of difference also. Later that facilitates to develop the Indologist and Orientalist from the classical Hindu scriptures. By this, today's lecture is completed. This is Bindu taking leave from the YouTube platform. Okay, good day and good night.